A few years ago when I had no plans to get any kind of third-party masterpiece figures, cause they usually cost a kid $100, the Magic Square Light of Peace was one figure that I've always wanted. Watching several reviews, I was enamored by its clean toon styling and its excessive amount of posability. Fast forward a couple of years, i.e. earlier this year, when I felt more ready for third-party figures, I managed to try out a figure from Magic Square, and we all know what happened with that. So when I saw the listing for this mold and an even sexier deco, I said, f it, we ball. Magic Square just got their second chance to win me over, coupled with my overwhelming expectations for the mold itself. So after all that being weighed against it, did this figure deliver the experience that I wanted? It didn't. Instead, it surpassed my expectations in every conceivable way imaginable, with some minor caveats. Greetings people of YouTube, I'm Screaming Star, and in this video I'll be reviewing the Magic Square Mirror Commander, also known as their version of Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. So to preface, this figure is a repaint of an upscale of their Legends class Optimus Prime figure, Light of Victory. Now I know some of you might be asking,
what is wrong with you? Why are you purple?
Well, this color scheme is based on the Shattered Glass version of Optimus Prime. Shattered Glass is basically a universe wherein the Decepticons are good and the Autobots are bad. So in short, this is Optimus Prime, but evil. Not to be confused with Optimus Prime but evil, or Optimus Prime but evil, or Optimus Prime but evil and boring as balls. I was never really the biggest fan of this deco for Optimus, but gotta say those promo images make him look smexy. The color scheme is reflected in this beautiful box, which is just a palette swap of Light of Pieces box. And if we open up said box, what awaits us inside is only the most gorgeous figure in my collection. Holy crap. Okay, maybe second only to mommy. These colors combined with the flat toon design, they just hit me in all the right ways. And unlike his official red counterpart, he does not come with a billion useless accessories. You don't get a pointless rectangle that does nothing other than to fulfill the need of,
and he always had a trailer in the cartoon, so the high-end collectible also needs a trailer.
And then proceeds to artificially f the price. Fortunately though, the cartoon accurate accessory that he does come with is this Ion Blaster. I say cartoon accurate as if this guy ever appeared in G1 at all. Shattered Glass animated show when? This is a pretty nice looking blaster. Unpainted, but due to accuracy's sake, I kinda get it. Actually no, this is not trying to be 100% accurate to anything. Some paint would have been greatly appreciated. Oh well, it's still sculpted nicely. Plug it into his hands by way of these tabs and the slots on the inside of his hands. Wrap his fingers around and pew pew, this looks cool. If you want him to go close range though, you can bring in this lovely green Energon axe. The original G1 Prime only used this in literally one episode, yet somehow this has become a standard pack and accessory with Optimus Prime figures. Not a problem for me, I've always loved this axe design. To attach it, just split it in two, position his fingers like this, weave the spec through, plug the top back in, and oh, does this look so badass. Love the shade of green that's used here too. Very vibrant and almost candy-like. And his final accessory that's relevant for the robot mode would be this Matrix of Leadership, one that's really hard to remove and looks kinda mid. It's pretty cool that they included this, but I will probably never use it again after this video. Now he also comes with these things, a card that's cool but useless, and these two trailer hitch pieces that are mainly used for his alt mode. One is for MP10's trailer and one is for MP44's. I don't know which is which. Now some people have complained that this is mandatory parts forming, but in actuality, if you are willing to sacrifice the smooth legs by attaching one of these hitches here, you could transform him from robot to vehicle mode in one clean go. Trailer hitch included, which I'll demonstrate later of course. These accessories, whilst not plentiful, are more than adequate enough to complement this marvelous figure. And speaking of said marvelous figure, oh dear, gorgeous. Looking at the mold itself, he is a striking image of his G1 counterpart, and as someone who really likes toon styling for the most part, this really does appeal to me. Sculpt-wise, there really aren't much of interest here, just flat panels with toon-accurate shaping, which I know isn't to everybody's taste, but I personally quite like it. Everything from this amazing head to this incredibly clean backpack, MP44, have been sculpted meticulously and incredibly well. In fact, this mode is so accurate that Daniel Warren Johnson, the ongoing writer and former artist of the new Skybound comics, which are absolutely peak by the way, used the original Light of Peace as a reference for how he drew Optimus in those comics, the Mad Lad. Now I already am a fan of how he looks sculpting wise, but combine that with this sexy ass deco. The shade of purple here is lovely, the metallic silver paint are just the tops, and there's enough breakup throughout the body to make him not boring to look at. I mean, they've even got these arrows painted, something that's not apparent with the original deco. However, he is missing the iconic shattered glass look on his truck windshield, and I reckon this can bother quite a few people. But if you are one of those few people, you can get the upcoming Masterpiece version. Just be ready to gift a car your two testes. And I mean, at least this glass here isn't shattered for real. Speaking of which, the plastic quality on him feels a little fragile at first, but the more I played with it, the more I got used to it. And build quality wise, he's just amazing. Solid through and through. And you wanna know something? All this toon goodness, all the lovely flourishes, the solid build, they'd mean diddly shit if it wasn't for this figure's main event. Let me tell you right now, this is the most posable figure in my collection. I am absolutely head over heels over how posable this figure is. It's awesome. Head is in a pretty tight ball joint and can look up that far and can look down that far. Antenna rotation for the transformation. Shoulders rotate 360 on a soft ratchet joint. They move out at this joint and at this joint. Extend it and he'll move his shoulders outward that far. Careful to not let the smokestacks get caught in here though, because it can ship the paint, yeah. And with this extended, that allows for a butterfly joint going backwards and forwards that far. Really tight bicep swivel that's a bit annoying. Swivel in the middle of the elbow. Double jointed elbow. Tight wrist swivel and individual finger articulation with ball joints at the base of each finger and a hinge joint at the knuckle. Same also goes for the thumb by the way. These are incredibly fun to mess with. Opening chest doors, which you do have to be careful with because these were really tight out of the box. Waist swivel, and one of my favorite point of articulation, you can extend the torso and get an insane ab crunch. Can give himself a head. And of course it moves back a lot as well. If you position the waist swivel correctly, that'll allow for a waist pivot. Of course you can make it better than that. If you move the hip skirts outward, you can kick the legs forward all the way that far on a pretty scary sounding ratchet joint. You'll get used to it. And he kicks back that far. Really cool how this inner skirt folds in, but you have to fold them out manually, so that's a bit of a pain. With the side skirts extended, of course he can do the splits. Soft ratchet joint, thigh swivel, double bend at the knee. Absolutely delicious sounding ratchet joint right here. Oh, and I should mention that the silver paint here is incredibly durable. And finally, as we come to the ankles, ratchet joint at the base of his ankles, hinge joint at his heel, hinge joint at the toe, and finally there's a ball joint here that allows for a little bit of swivel and an insane ankle pivot. That was an absolutely amazing assortment of joints. And without further dilly-dallying, why don't we just get him to strike some poses? That has got to be the most fun I've ever had posing a Transformer. Legit, barely anything comes close to the sheer amount of fun factor this guy gave me. And it's really satisfying too because this thing is quite big actually. Size comparisons. Here's Mirror Commander next to Legacy United Animated Optimus Prime, Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime, another big purple baddie, the Black Mamba Tarn. These two make a fantastic team together. Comparing him to a regular 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Mr. Knight, and finally, the YOLO Park AMK Pro G1 Megatron. These don't really fit in scale together, but this being an evil Optimus Prime, I don't mind him towering over Megatron. But yeah, sadly, this YOLO Park Megatron does not fit in scale with the original Light of Peace. And after all those bells and whistles, can you believe that I'm still not done praising this man? Okay, so to give some reference, the only other two 3P Masterpiece figures that I have aren't the most inviting to transform. Shatter had amazing engineering and was pretty fun to go through, but her conversion was quite time consuming. And Tarantulas can just jump into a pool of lava for all I care. I immensely dislike that conversion. But this guy, MP44, this is not. And I mean that in the best way imaginable. By the way, again, I'll show the transformation with the hitch on, but just keep in mind that this is indeed optional and it does not change the conversion that much anyways. So now let us commence absolute engineering heaven. Be careful on this part since you really do have to stretch the plastic a bit. And here's my biggest problem with this figure. You have to pull this whole wheel piece out. And as you may be able to see that there are some stress marks here. This is genuinely concerning and I am worried about the longevity of this thing. Just make sure that you be gentle with yours. Especially because for the next few steps you'll have to bring this piece forward a bit and rotate this wheel arch to go past the trailer hitch piece. And that means you're gonna have to stretch the plastic a bit. There you go. Again, please be very gentle with your figure. Without the trailer hitch, you would peg this part in, but because you do have the trailer hitch piece on, leave this up for now, and see, no parts forming necessary. One last thing here is if you haven't done it, you want to make sure that the bottom hinges here look flush like this. Oh my goodness, that was such a satisfying transformation. Ignoring that one hopefully not fatal flaw, my favorite part would have to be the arms. The way they form this cube-like shape is just pure genius. And the resulting truck mode, absolute cubicle perfection. Of all the MP size Optimus truck modes I've seen, this is my favorite one. It's so simple yet incredibly effective in representing the show model. And this deco, oh goodness, this deco. The green tinted windshields are on full display from the front and the sides, and they're even more gorgeous than when in robot mode. Love these silver stripes on the sides too. A nice deviation from the show model to go more toy accurate. The shape of the cab is just endlessly fun to hold. It's just a solid cube. The truck bed though still sorta looks like crumpled robot legs. At least his feet don't stick out too much. Plus you've got the trailer hitch to draw your attention to. The entire thing is just so solid. Rolls pretty decently, please be careful to not scratch the silver paint. And just as an added flex, he's got opening doors that don't interfere with the transformation. MP44 and articulated rear view mirrors, lovely. I think I've said all I wanted to say about this vehicle mode and this figure in general. So you know what? Let's do some size comparisons and wrap things up. Here he is next to animated Optimus Prime, Bayverse Optimus Prime, KO Tarn, Mr. Knight, and finally, YOLO Park Megatron. And there goes my review for the Magic Square Mirror Commander. Honestly man, if you're a masterpiece collector, heck, if you love the concept of Transformers, you owe it to yourself to get one version of this mold in your collection. They're still a bit expensive, but nowhere near the masterpiece versions, I'm telling you. Even if you don't like the G1 Toon designs, you can still have a lot of fun just due to the sheer amount of articulation that he has. Not to mention you can just get a deco that's better than the original, like this guy right here. As for my stance on this figure, let's just say that he'll occupy a high spot within my end of year top 10 list. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you all next time. Behold, the eternal glory of an unstable combined mode. Also, just a heads up, no video next week because college stuff.